Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back and we are live here on Worst Case Scenario Podcast. I am your host, Bill. With me is D-Lo. Say what up, D-Lo.
Yo, yo,
And we have
yo.
Bennett. Say what up, Bennett.
Hey.
And we are here. It's been months, and we understand that. We've been living life. We've been doing our thing. Bennett tried climbing a mountain or something. I'm not sure. But, guys, we start off the show with heavy hearts as we lost Sabu this past week, a guy that I grew up watching in ECW. Bennett laughs, but Bennett grew up loving Sabu too. So I mean,
I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at the man's demise. I'm not laughing at you bringing him up. I'm laughing. I am laughing at you bringing him up. That's why I'm laughing. I'm not laughing because the guy died. Sabu was an awesome wrestler.
I sense the sarcasm in his voice.
I do too. This guy's sick. He's got issues. You know what I'm saying? But
I do have issues. It's nothing to do with being sick or anything like that, though. I just Sabu was a hell of a wrestler. I just knew that you was going to bring this up first, Phil. And how do you cringe? I'm cringe. I was cringing at the thought that you brought Sabu up first.
well, listen. I was never good to copy his style. You know what I'm saying? And Bennett, you was never good enough to copy his style. But he wasn't.
Never seen you copy his style.
Hey, listen, he had a style. He's a hell of a wrestler, and you know but he was 61. Like, I know that is kind of young, but it's not.
That's not young.
He lived.
Nah,
a life
especially for a professional wrestler that's been in the business for 35, 40 years. Yeah, it's not young, dude. So
yeah, but he was a hell of a wrestler. He didn't make the money he should have, but he was innovative at the time. His style was different, and he is legendary in the business. I will give that to him.
He is legendary. You're right.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know that his last match should have happened. I enjoyed watching it, but he knocked himself unconscious. It took a whole pouch of kratom to get him out of bed. I mean, whatever the scenario may be, dude, he wasn't in good shape to be wrestling. I remember a few years back, for true Sabu fans, they know of the lady that he brought out that he called the genie or whatever. Well, that's who he was like with in real life and shit. And a few years back, he was like having a GoFundMe and shit. What's that?
She died back in 2021.
Yeah. Well, they were having a GoFundMe back in like 2019 or something to try to get Sabu a hip replacement and shit. So that should have been his inclination that he needed to stay the fuck out of the ring. But like you said, he never made the money he needed to make to be financially comfortable, and he never got the recognition for the things that he did do. He was a hardcore innovator. I don't know that he had the specific in-ring talent. Like, he's not going to wow you with his technical ability, but he would do crazy shit with his body.
He did have that. He did have that ability to mat wrestle. He could switch his style up with anybody. This is why when WWE brought them back with the ECW brand in 2007, they put him in 2 world title matches with both their champions, John Cena on a pay-per-view, and then Rey Mysterio, who was the world heavyweight champion at the time, because he had that ability.
Well, I tell you one thing. He was terrible on the mic. His mic skills weren't great.
Never talked. He should have never talked on the mic.
What did you say, Bennett?
He's from Bombay. How good you want him to be on the mic?
Well, he sounded like Mushmouth, so.
Bennett or Sabu?
Both of them, both.
Yeah.
Sometimes Bennett sounds like Sabu.
I agree with that. But, like I said, in all honesty, like, we probably thought he would have been dead 10, 15 years ago with his style.
Yeah.
And when I say his style, it's the way he lived his life. He used to be known.
Yeah.
He had a Winnebago that he would drive to all the shows, and like Sandman and Fonzie and some of the other wrestlers would ride with him. And if they didn't ride with him, when he pulled up, that's where everybody would go because that's where the drugs were. So, I mean, he lived that life where he didn't say no to too many drugs. You know what I'm saying? But I still thought at 61 years old, which is how old he was when he had his last match, that I've seen guys get in there and do far less. Like he was in there and he was doing the shit in a barbed wire match, which he nearly killed
No,
himself.
I
in the
agree.
first
Like
couple minutes.
he definitely didn't belong. He definitely didn't belong in that battle royal with all the old fucks in there. Like he was a lot better than that. But just knowing the injuries that the dude's had throughout his career, I mean, there comes a point when the body says enough is enough. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. All right. Well, guys, we talked about Sabu. We have not been on here for a while. There has been so many things that we can talk about, but I think one of the things that I would like to talk about is the Knicks and the Pacers getting ready to do battle in the Eastern Conference Finals. What do you got to think about that deal? Your Pacers are in it.
man, I tell you what, everybody has been counting the Pacers out from the moment they got into the playoffs. You know, they've been saying that they're just not there, this and that, but they're gelling well, man. Like, Miles Turner has stepped his game up as a big man in the playoffs, and of course Halliburton, he's definitely legit. It's crazy to me that they took a vote from the NBA players, and Halliburton was voted the most overrated player in the league, man. So, and all that dude does is average, 17 points a game and 13 assists. You know what I mean? He averages a double-double and shit. So, but
I think it's going to be a very
yeah,
good matchup.
Yeah,
The
I
Knicks
think
are
it's going
bringing
to be
their
a hell of a
squad.
series.
Yeah, the Knicks got a very, very good squad. So do the Pacers. I mean, I see this going to 7 games. I really do.
Yeah.
What do you think, Bennett?
I expect Pascal Siakam to play a key role.
Yeah, we lost
Bennett
him.
didn't like it enough to where he left. You know what I mean? So
No.
he said Pacers in 6 and just left, dude. You know.
He's gonna be like, send me another invite. And that dude's sitting out on the balcony. I don't know if his phone wasn't charged. Who knows with this guy? I mean, for heaven's sakes,
he's got a problem with trying to do shit on his phone while he's in this, and he tends to kick himself out, and now he's doing a new thing where he's blocking himself. So.
I don't know how he has the ability to do this, but we're also not shocked by it in any way, shape, or form. No, I truly believe that this is going to go to 7 games. I think this is going to be. There he is. I think that this is going to be one of those series that is like, this might be where they beat the shit out of each other so bad that it might cost them in the NBA Finals. So I mean,
well,
these teams.
I mean, the thing about it is, yeah, they definitely hate each other, and I was telling Bennett earlier. Like you said, this is going to be a physical series, and if they got to line up against OKC or Denver, they might be in trouble. Either team, the Knicks or the Pacers, if they got to line up across from those guys after they play this physical series, they might be in trouble. But I think that either team, if Minnesota makes it, I think either team could beat Minnesota in the finals.
I agree. Bennett, what did you say now? We lost you there. You're back.
Yeah, I unplugged my charger and it threw me off the site for a second. That's weird. StreamYard is dog shit. I would like to put that out there. I like the Pacers' chances if they get past the Knicks because I think they match up well with everybody in the East. I'm disagreeing with D'Lo. I think OKC, Minnesota, all of them, I think they match up well because you know what about the NBA? You don't even really get to see a team until the playoffs because none of these motherfuckers play defense until it's playoff time. and the Pacers play good defense.
Yeah.
So I think the Pacers actually match up well against all the teams in the West. I like their chances.
So what do you think? What do you think is going to be the outcome of this series? Phil said the Knicks in 7. I'm going Pacers in 6. What do you think?
I mean, as much as I hate to say it, coming from the Midwest, I'd love to see the Pacers. They got a good chance, but I think the Knicks in 7 is probably a better assessment.
The one thing I can give the Knicks is that they just knocked out the defending NBA champions, and last night they did it by beating them by 40 points last night. I mean, this Knicks team can score.
The Pacers just beat. Well, dude, I mean, you're giving the Knicks this credit, but Tatum blew his Achilles out, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that team was bound to fall apart. And the Pacers, the series they just won, it was against the team with the best record in the NBA this year, the Cavaliers. You know what I'm saying? So
when they
both played tough teams.
When he blew out his, we won Achilles or whatever it was that he blew out, the Knicks were already up 3 games to nothing. I mean,
yeah, I know. You guys have won, but I mean, you guys have won a tough series against Boston, but Boston's not to me, they're not the team that won the title last year. Porzingis, he's just not held up well this year and things like that. So I'm not taking anything from. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I give you guys credit. Hey, listen, it isn't going to be easy. I hope 100%. I hope it's just like it was in those classic matchups in the playoffs back in the 90s when it was Reggie, when it was Smits, when it was John Starks, Oakley, Patrick Ewing, Larry Johnson. Yeah. I'm hoping that it's like that. I'm hoping that it's just one of those a dog bite, because I mean, Spike Lee will be at the games, so I hope that we get that 90s feel, because that's when basketball was great. So I'm hoping that's what we get,
if Halliburton sinks a buzzer beater, he's got to do the fucking choke thing to Spike Lee as he's going down the court, man. So
no, I agree. By chance, did you guys happen to catch the big signing of Brock Purdy?
Yeah, I did. 265, 185 guaranteed, 53 a year for 5 years, right?
Yeah, but that's a big contract for Mr. Relevant.
Yeah, well, and it's also a huge contract for a team that's pretty much rebuilding, considering that they let Debo go. They retain Kittle, and they said they're going to offer a deal to Warner out there, but these are older guys. Like, they said that Ayuk's on the trade market. So yeah. What are you going to do? You're getting rid of his weapons, and then you're turning around and paying him all this money, man. But that's the price of having to sign these quarterbacks to these huge contracts.
Yeah, Bennett, what do you think about this big deal?
I don't think he's worth that much money, I'll tell you that. But at the same time, San Francisco, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. That's your best option. You didn't draft nobody because Brock's your guy, but is Brock really the guy? He's not a prolific passer. He's a game manager. Do you want to pay $245 million for a game manager? No.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, but the thing that would make me so hesitant to sign to sign him to that deal is several no-name quarterbacks have had success in that Shanahan system. So it's almost one of those things where you can almost plug and play in his system, man. And I'd be hesitant to give this dude that kind of money. So
Well, let me tell you these stats. Let's go ahead and I'll run down these stats that ESPN put out. And since he became a full-time starter in Week 14 of the 2022 season, he ranks top 5 in passing yards, total QBR, and leads all quarterbacks in yards and attempts. So yards and attempt, he's first. Passing yards, he's got 9,242. That's fourth. Passing TDs, he's thrown 64. That's seventh. Total QBR, 70.6. That's fourth. So,
all right. Now I don't know if you can look this stat up, but I want you to look up when guys like Kittle or Debo aren't on the field, how much, like, what kind of stats he's got, because that's what I took notice to was when his superstars weren't on the field, he didn't make a lot of shit happen. You know what I mean? Like he didn't make guys, he didn't elevate his guys like usually like a franchise quarterback will.
San Francisco's been loaded with talent for a while. They've been loaded with talent. Yeah. So his job is relatively easy. I mean, not being a quarterback in the NFL is not an easy job. I don't care if you're a 32nd team, but at the same time, like, he don't stand out to me. Those stats, they might be kind of hidden by the talent around him.
Yeah, that's a possibility, but hey, you do with what you got, and he's had far better.
Here's a question. Here's a question for you guys, and I think it's a very similar, not so much scenario, but quarterback. It'll let you know who the better quarterback is. Would you rather have Justin Herbert on your roster, or would you rather have this motherfucker?
Well, as you say that, over the last few seasons, Herbert's has went down. His numbers have went down.
Yes, that's why I'm asking you. But the tape don't lie. When you watch Justin Herbert play, fuck the stats, and you watch Brock Purdy play, who would you rather have?
Well, I guess at this point you would say Brock Purdy because he's been to the playoffs. He's made it. Did he play the Super Bowl?
I think they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, weren't they?
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, he's made it to NFC Championship games. So
but the 49ers have players out the ass in every position, and they have for a long time now.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Justin Herbert. I'd rather have Justin Herbert, and that's the reason why I brought Justin Herbert up, is because I think they're on the same. I don't know. I think Justin Herbert's way better than Brock Purdy, and the rosters are totally different, and that's why I brought him up. Their stats are probably pretty similar, but Justin Herbert plays for a different franchise that don't necessarily always do the best what's best for the team when it comes to talent on the roster. The 49ers are excellent about building around their quarterback.
Yeah.
Bennett, what happened to the tripod?
See, I told. Yeah, what happened?
I got one, and they ain't using it.
I can see your hand. You're putting in your shaky hand because it's, what I'm saying, and that's weird because you're actually drinking right now, and your hand's still shaking. So,
I'm just I'm moving around.
I totally disagree with Bennett, though, man. I would take Purdy over Herbert. It's almost like the question of, would you take Phillip Rivers over Eli Manning? You know what I mean? Like, Eli Manning's went to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl. Phillip Rivers choked in the playoffs. Where but Phillip Rivers was the better regular season quarterback than Eli Manning. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I think it's all comes down to, do you want Brady or Manning? You know what I'm saying? Manning was the best regular season, I think we all say, quarterback we ever saw play, but Brady was the best postseason quarterback. So, I mean, and Brady did it with less talent. He did not have these.
Well, no, but what he's saying, he's saying like,
man, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. He had talent on defense, and when you get the ball, you get the ball more, and you ain't got to score 31 points every game. That's the hidden stat that no one wants to talk about. Hey, Peyton Manning scores 31, 34, 37, 41, something like that. Brady's scoring 21, 24, 27, and he's winning because his defense makes a stop. It's not a shootout. And you're getting the same thing with Brock Purdy and Justin Herbert is when Herbert got his wins, I know his stats wasn't good the last couple of years. Harbaugh is not going to allow that to happen. Harbaugh is not going to allow Herbert to throw 40, 50 times a game unless absolutely necessary. He's going to let the run game, he's going to let the defense play it out. And that's the same thing you get with back in the day with Belichick. Defense and run game is going to play it out. Whereas in Indy, you got to throw the ball all the time because that's the only way you're going to fucking win. It's a shootout, and that's not a good scenario for any quarterback. That's why I'd rather have Herbert over Brock Purdy.
Well, then, if that's the case, then why did Edgerrin James and Marshall Faulk and these guys have great careers in Indianapolis, man? I mean, they relied on the run game as well.
No, they did, but that was back in Manning's early years, and you can see that from the stats and the records. Marshall Faulk, he was there, I think, Manning's rookie year, maybe the first two, and then Edgerrin James.
I think he was there the first two, and then Edgerrin James.
Yeah, but Manning didn't have MVP stats, and maybe the last year of Edgerrin being there, but Manning really excelled when they both left.
Well,
because you didn't have anything. You didn't have anything wrong. It was pass. You knew it was coming to pass. The year they beat the Bears in the Super Bowl, Joseph Adai kicked the shit out of the Bears. Why? Because the Bears were so focused on
he was solid for his time there. He had more injuries than they would like. The Bears were so focused on Peyton Manning that they lost track of what the run game was going to do, and the run game just ripped them a new asshole.
That's what made Peyton so great. I mean, several things did. Speaking of quarterbacks, I don't know if you guys read this. I'd read this earlier this week on ESPN. I think it came out about Caleb Williams trying to do whatever he could to dodge the Bears when they were drafting him. Did you guys hear anything about this?
Yes, I did. I've watched videos on it. I've read stuff about it. And back in the day, I would have flipped the fuck out as a Bears fan. I would have been like, what the fuck, dude? If you don't want to be on our team, get the fuck out here. You're a prima donna. You're this, you're that. But when you go back now, thankfully, it comes out this year, the second year. You go back now and look at it. It's like this guy had every right to be scared and not want to play for the Bears, and his dad too, not wanting to put his son there. The Bears are known for ruining quarterbacks. It was proven last year. Their coach got fired. Their offensive coordinator got fired. They said that he was in the fucking film room without instruction to even watch film, by himself watching film. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable for a quarterback to not have direction and to do that. And it's, oh my God, all this shit's coming out. And like you seen it last year. If you're a Bears fan, you've seen it for the last fucking 15 years, but I don't know how bad it was. But last year, now that it's coming out in a documentary or a book or whatever. But this guy literally took it upon himself to go watch film and didn't have anyone in there in the room with him coaching him or talking about, what you should be watching. And now he's happy to be a Bears fan. Now he's happy to be the Bears quarterback, and to be a Bears fan, that's awesome. So I don't mind it because in past I would say, fuck you. You don't want to be a part of the Bears, but in this situation, this guy had every right to say, I don't want to be part of the Bears.
All right, D'Lo, you got anything to say else on that?
Yeah, I don't know how much you looked into it, Bennett, but it all comes back to it was his dad that was looking into whether or not they could play in the UFL and forego being drafted and turn into a free agent. His dad is also the one that came out and said that Caleb Williams shouldn't play under a rookie deal. He should be paid as a franchise quarterback as soon as he's
Yeah,
drafted.
I don't agree with that. That's going outside the
You know,
spectrum.
his dad is delusional like Dion. Of course he believes his son is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I understand you want to maximize your child, but there's a process to this shit. You come into the league, you earn the respect of your peers, and if you're not happy as a Bears quarterback and you believe you got the talent to go elsewhere and compete for a starting job, then you do that. You know, Justin Fields is doing it right now. He's being given an opportunity with the Jets. He was given a little bit of an opportunity with Pittsburgh. If your time with the Bears doesn't go well, Mitchell Trubisky was given an opportunity with the Steelers. Things like that. If your time doesn't go well with that team, then you move on. But there's a process to this shit, and thinking that you're going to be better and you're gonna do something to throw a wrench in the works. All it's going to do is you're going to end up like a Maurice Claret, to where you didn't end up in the league at all. I think he got signed
like
to.
Shador. You're going to end up like Shador.
Like who?
Shador.
Right, dude. I mean, this league has a way of checking. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This league has a way of checking people's egos, man. And you know, the best thing that Caleb Williams can do is tell his dad to shut the fuck up and just let it be, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if that were the case, if they were considering other options.
This was a year ago. This was a year ago. It came out in a book now, like a year later. And I'm glad it did, like I said, because there would have been all kinds of media bullshit and everything like that around it. But, I mean, when you go back and you look at people like LeVar Ball and even Shador and Dion this year, he had a legitimate right to say, I don't want to play for the fucking Bears. I wouldn't want to play for the Bears. I wouldn't want my son to play for the fucking Bears if he's a quarterback.
I agree. I 100% agree with that, man. But at the same time, you are the Bears quarterback now. There's no reason to even talk about it. I like you said, this is a year ago or whatever it is, but the shit should have been answered as, you know, the shit should have been answered as, my dad wanted to look into other options. He thought that it may be a better option. We decided to roll with the Bears. I'm happy that I'm here. Boom. I'm their quarterback. Let's move on. But fucking, like I said, man, his dad is another Dion, or like you said, a LeVar Ball or one of those type of dads. It's crazy, man, because dude, the Matthews family has generations of players in the league and things like that. You don't hear about none of those Matthews dads coming out talking about, if my son don't go to the right place, I'm gonna make him hold out until he's traded or goes, you know, this and that. Like, you don't hear them dudes doing that shit because they understand the process. Dion was entitled from the moment he went into Florida State, and he was entitled throughout his time in the league, and he's entitled now as a coach. And he thinks he can dictate what his son does in the NFL, and it's nuts. And like I said,
you can't. It's bullshit.
Like I said, this is how Caleb's dad is as well. But that's the end of my point. So.
What else? I also
and, hold on 1 second. As far as the film room thing, nobody being in there, I'd like to know how many times Caleb was in there by himself, because that shit's dangerous when you come out and start talking about nobody was in the film room with me, nobody was in there helping me, coach me in the film room, whatever. They're going to come out and be like, the dude went in the film room one time last year. Other than that, he was a lazy motherfucker, and he didn't want to study his routes and didn't want to study this and that. You know, so it's a dangerous thing, because where you're calling out Eberflus and his staff, you better hope that he ain't got shit that's going to come back on you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's what I was thinking about. I'm a big fan of Tyson Bagent, the backup quarterback. And why were you alone without Tyson Bagent? Tyson Bagent looks like a hard worker, and he wants to do something. He's an undrafted free agent quarterback in the NFL. Are you telling me that he wasn't in the film room? Because I'm pretty sure that he was.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, it's dangerous when you start throwing shade out there like that, when that shit could come back on you. And, you know, they could say he was a lazy motherfucker. He's claiming he went to the film room, but he only did it once last year. The rest of the time he was worried about getting the fuck out of the facilities as soon as practice was over. So.
And I've had to deal with sports dads myself all my life. Phil, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I get it.
He's talking about you, Phil.
About you. Also, let's talk about
No, hold on. To give credit to Phil, and to take a little bit subjection away from this situation is Phil, you did try to put your kids in a winning situation, even when you were coaching, but at the same time, you never you never over expectated. Like you didn't put your kid at quarterback. Yeah, I mean, you put your kid where it was best for him to excel, and we put the kid in the position to win. And if he was on a different team, he probably wouldn't even got in that position. I agree with that, which he would have missed out on because the kid was a good player at that position. Like Makai would have never got a chance to run streaks down the sideline and score a touchdown if he was on a different team. But we used him in that situation, and he did, because we were right and other people would have been fucking wrong.
That's true.
That is true.
Hey, let me ask you guys about your new stadium. I read another thing about that. We heard that they bought this property up in Arlington Heights. I think it was an old racetrack? Was it like a dog?
It was a horse racing track. Racing track.
And they're hoping to break ground by by this year, and he's still hoping to. But nothing said. Then I heard something about they were looking at some property, even though they bought that, and they bought that property for like, what was that, 190 million or 200 million? They were also looking at property south of the stadium along the water line there. So what do you guys know about that?
Actually, I got confirmation, breaking news this morning.
I talked a little bit about with you about this shit right before the podcast, and
what's he doing?
We might have lost him.
No, he's there.
Go ahead, D'Lo.
Go ahead, bud. Okay, yeah. We actually, breaking news. It's confirmed. We're 100% going to Arlington Heights. They just agreed to a deal with the design company that because they had 4 different companies submit designs, and they just agreed to the deal with the design company. The design company let them know that they could have the stadium built in Arlington Heights by 2028. It's like a $4.2 billion investment total. So they're moving to Arlington Heights. Chicago as a city is going to suffer because of this. The amount of economic impact that it has when Chicago Bears play a game on Sunday is astronomical, and so it's going to hurt the inner city of Chicago, especially that South Loop down there. So I think it was a fuck up by the mayor of Chicago, but the city didn't want to invest. They didn't want to invest enough money in the stadium and give them enough space to do what they needed to do there in Chicago. And so, things like this happen, man. I mean, there's plenty of NFL teams that are not in the cities that they claim. I mean, you guys are in New Jersey, for God's sake. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just one of those
Dallas
things.
Actually, plays in a city called Arlington.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, guys, I want to give. We had a dude that was chatting with me on our thing. He's watching, and I know D'Lo. I'll talk to you about him. But old high school buddy of mine, the Don, the Mitten, he was on there just saying what's up, telling us, I'm great with the podcast and everything else. And he was big on something else that we're going to talk about here. But he was like congratulating Brock on whooping ass as Brock did in his
Yes. Yeah,
matchup.
yeah. For
He's
sure.
going by Lofi Kingdom on there and shit. And no, Don, I'm only the Jet fan. These two are Bear fans, bud. So
Goddamn right.
but he was sitting there chatting with me on our site, man. He's on here watching and stuff. And so hey, we appreciate the views, man, and communicating with us while we're on here. So
Absolutely,
but go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
No, we are.
Yeah, no,
It's better.
the deal's done.
It's better for
The deal is
for
done.
Arlington.
Okay. Hold on. What'd you say, D-Lo, now?
The deal is done. We're moving to Arlington 100%.
All right, Bennett, what now?
It's better for the Bears to go to Arlington in the long run. They're going to build a dome. It's not going to be lakefront. It's not going to be a stadium. It's not going to be outdoor weather. Might as well go to a nicer place, which is Arlington. Arlington's way nicer than Chicago. I know it's a suburb out of Chicago, but it's just a lot nicer. It's a lot more fan friendly. So I mean, in the long run, yeah, you would have loved to stay on the lakefront and get that weather, but they were going to do that anyway. They were going to build a dome anyway, so Arlington was the right way to go.
But the question is now, what will you guys do, or the city? What do you think the city will do with Soldier Field? But at one time that was on the National Historic Registry or whatever. So like,
oh
will
yeah,
tear it
yeah.
down?
I don't think they're gonna be able to tear the stadium down. I don't know if they'll be able to sign a contract. Where's the UFL team?
No, I would say the soccer team there would probably maybe put some money into it. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
use that there. I don't know.
What I heard was $10 billion to destroy the stadium, but keep the pillars and still keep it a national, whatever you call it, a place where you can go visit.
Hey guys, hold on. I'm gonna put this up there. The Don had a question, and so I'm gonna throw it up on here so that way we can debate it. If you guys can see that on there, it said how many teams you see going to dome stadiums that have been traditionally open stadiums, like the Titans and Bears. Are the Bears?
All of them are going to do it. They want to buy for the Super Bowl. And if you're playing in the Midwest, you can't have a Super Bowl chance with your open stadium.
What do you say?
Yeah, but no, I don't believe that's true. There's certain, it's all about your weather conditions. Now, Chicago and Green Bay, they're going to eventually have to go full dome, all that. But if another team were to ever pop up in a place like San Diego or something, they don't need a dome. There's 70-degree weather all the time. I mean, they may have some rain, but what?
They'll still get a Super Bowl. That's what I'm saying.
I do not believe absolutely Green Bay will ever go to a dome. I'm shocked even that the Bears do. And that was something like, I know, Deal, you're a Bear fan, but you do not agree with most Bear fans about going to winter games. And I've been to a winter game when it was Jets and Bears up there with Bennett. It's cold. And that wind coming off of Lake Michigan, that hurts when it's cold outside.
Well, it highly surprised me when the Jets and the Giants rebuilt their stadium, when they built, I guess you call it Jet Life, but it's MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
It highly surprised me that they didn't go dome because of the weather there in the later months, you know what I mean, or the early months of the year. So,
but I don't ever see Buffalo. I would never ever see Buffalo building a dome stadium. I don't even see them building a retractable roof because them, like most Chicago football fans, Buffalo fans are proud of that snow and they're proud of going out there in sleeveless shirts.
I just don't know if Buffalo or Green Bay would ever qualify for a Super Bowl anyway, man. Like, their cities are so small that I don't even know if they could handle the amount of people that come in for that event. They would overload the hotels. The restaurants wouldn't be able to keep up, shit like that, man. I mean, they're just not built for that kind of economic impact.
I agree.
So
I agree. I mean, you gotta, as Indianapolis found out, when you host a Super Bowl, you have to have the hotels. That's number one. If you don't have the hotels, you're not going to get
yeah.
a Super Bowl. You got to host a lot.
Well,
when you're doing
we've experienced that firsthand. We were supposed to get sectionals for an ISU baseball game,
Yep.
and there was something else going on here at that time, and
Special
they
Olympics.
decided to allow. Why you gotta do that, Phil? Why you
That's
gotta do
true.
that, shit, man?
That's true. I was boycotting the Special Olympics over that shit. They had a really good baseball team that year. They really did. Indiana State did. And they got screwed out there.
This
They
dude,
had to play.
this
had to
dude
go
was out
play.
here
They
holding picketing signs and shit, boycotting the Special Olympics.
Well, you know how it is sometimes, man. But there's just anything south of the Mason-Dixon line is never going to have a dome. It shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? But then again, it gets hot. So they want those retractable roofs so that way they can turn the air on and keep fans happy.
Yeah, I think they're willing to deal more with the heat than they are to deal with the extreme cold and things like that. Like I don't ever see the Buccaneers going to a dome, man. They got those cannons out there and that big ship and all that, and it's good, usually good weather down there in Florida, and so they I don't ever see Tampa Bay going to a dome.
Well, look,
So.
Cleveland just got a new stadium. I don't know what, maybe 8 years ago they got their new stadium, maybe 10, and it's an open air and it sits right there on Lake Erie. So I mean, they weren't worried about it. So it would shock me, like you guys are moving away from right next to the water. Arlington Heights is a good amount of distance from Lake Michigan, so you're not going to have.
Yeah, I think it's 45 minutes outside of Chicago, man. So I mean, it's a good ways away, man.
All right, so I'm shocked you guys are getting you guys are going to throw a roof on that thing, really. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, you got to stay up.
Yeah, because you don't ever see.
I'm not happy about it either.
Yeah, you don't ever see like Pittsburgh or Philadelphia even going to the dome right now. Like it just don't seem like something that could happen. But like Bennett says, man, I mean, it's all about economic impact. When they're not playing football in it, they want to be able to rent it out for events. And in the winter months, that can't happen because of the weather in Chicago and shit. You know what I mean? So
yeah. All right, guys. You guys got anything else? Let's go ahead and we'll talk about Brock a little bit because I know that we were all real proud of him and what he did just a few weeks back. But he had his first, which Brock is my son, you guys' nephew. This guy came out and had his first cage match representing the O'Reillys and fought a guy that we actually worked with who was a boxer and claimed that there was no way that Brock was going to tap him out or put him to sleep. And he was talking knockout and everything else. And we'll have to do a footage on it because we have the footage. But Brock came out and within 2 minutes, choked him out, took his back and made him tap out and won his first ever MMA cage fight. And I know we were super proud, but what do you guys think about that event?
Yeah, man. I mean, again, super proud. You know, he come out and he looked like it was his first or second fight. I mean, he stayed very poised, but he walked into a couple shots to the guy. He's got to work on his boxing and shit, but this kid's super talented, man. Anything you put in front of him, as far as athletic goes, he usually adapts and overcomes, and so that's what it's always been about with Brock, man. He's always been able to overcome the challenges that have been in front of him. So,
Bennett,
I loved it. I loved every single minute of it, every single second of it. Brock did us all proud. Brock did himself proud. Represented his family, represented his homeboys and everything. He hadn't won before the bell rang. If I can say that with confidence.
Yeah.
He hadn't won before the bell rang.
Dude was not a bit nervous.
I was nervous as shit. I was more nervous than Brock was.
Yeah, I agree. I said that's something we're to jump on here and do a like a reaction to his fight because it's on YouTube, but so we can pull it up and do a reaction to it. It's only 2 minutes, but I mean, I think the whole thing they have him walking out, and like I said, I love the commentators on the actual pay-per-view. They likened him to who was it? Uriah Faber.
Uriah Faber.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they were big on it, and how quick he was in his reactions. That's hard work, and I mean that guy spent the time in the gym. He's already got his next fight signed. He's fighting a dude from out of town, from New Albany, Indiana, on the 27th of September. So we'll all be in that ready. That dude's actually fighting tonight on a card in New Albany for a company called Fierce Fighting Series. So I'll be looking.
Is that are you able to stream that anywhere?
I'm gonna have to find out. I don't know if they have it streaming or if we're gonna have to wait to see it on YouTube or whatnot. So I don't know if this company does any streaming like that. So, but definitely will be. I've watched. The guy has one other MMA fight that he won by TKO. But like I said, you guys have seen the footage. That dude was like a tomato can, and then he did a kickboxing match that he quit in the middle of. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to watch that, and like I said, it's exciting with seeing somebody that we know like that, and how far can he go in the world of MMA. So it's something that we'll definitely be following. So, is there anything else you guys in the world of sports you guys want to talk about?
Let's see here. What do you guys think of the free agent market this year, man? I mean, was there any specific names changing hands and shit in the NFL free agent market that caught your guys' eye and things like that? I can't even remember at this point who to.
I saw. Oh, there was some, but outside of that, there's a dude that's a free agent now that I just read yesterday. At one time was claiming to be the one of the best safeties in the league that played for the New York Jets, and he got disgruntled because he wanted paid, and so we shipped him away for we got a bounty for him, and now he came out yesterday saying that he would like to finish his career with the Jets. Sad part is this guy is only 29 years old, so it's one of those things.
Yeah,
where,
I mean, he's real good at wearing out his welcome, things like that. How'd you guys like how the draft played out? The Bears shook things up. Everybody was expecting them to take Tyler Warren from Penn State. They ended up taking that Colston Loveland. The Jets. You guys drafted a tackle, didn't you? First round.
Yes, but like coming out, we were the same way. Everybody thought we was going to take Tyler from Penn State, the tight end, and the Jets said they actually were smart. They took the right tackle. We drafted a left tackle last year. We have Barrett Tucker. Yep. We have Tippmann, who our center, who we drafted from Wisconsin, 2-3 years ago. So now we have this fortified line. And then in the second round, we got who's many considered the second or third best tight end from where the hell did he come from? There's another Big Ten school. Maybe it was Ohio State or whatever, but we got him, and I was happy with it. I was happy. It wasn't. They didn't go out and get the most sexiest names, you know what I'm saying? But they were smart about it. And Aaron Glenn is plugging holes, but he's doing a youth movement because we just let go of Greg Zuerlein, our kicker, and they're going to have a battle with these other two younger kickers. And we released one of the best punters over the last 10 years. Thomas Moorhead, and we just released him, and so it's kind of like fuck, man, but
so let me ask you as a Jets fan, do you feel that it was a smart move for them to release Aaron Rodgers? First of all, did you like how they handled that process, and do you believe that they're setting Aaron Glenn up for success by signing Justin Fields to a 2-year deal? I mean, if you have two seasons where you're in the top 10 picks, you're probably going to release Aaron Glenn before he even has a chance to develop a quarterback.
Well, if it was me, I would have been more happy keeping Rodgers, keeping Devontae Adams, adding what we did in the draft
Yep.
around him and stuff. And I felt like we could have still had a chance to contend. Instead, they decided to strip the team apart, and we're kind of starting over. Every team does this. When new coach, new GM comes in, they want to strip it apart, and then it's like that you're going to suffer for the next year or two. And while they're trying to build up, but they're trying to leave their imprint on the team. Everybody wants to do that, but what ends up happening?
You don't have a.
I want to say something.
A lot of coaches don't have a situation like you guys had, where you got a quarterback that may have 1 or 2 years left, and he says he's willing to mentor a rookie quarterback, and you guys still are like, get the fuck out the door. You know what I mean? And it's just like, at least I think Rodgers can play at still a.
Why isn't he signed anywhere?
I mean, dude, look at what Pittsburgh's doing to accommodate him. They're just sitting around waiting on him.
Well, they traded away one of their best receivers.
Yeah, that's crazy there. I don't know what that was
about.
They just probably don't want the dysfunction that Metcalf and Pickens would bring together.
Go ahead, Bennett. What was you going to say now?
I would love to talk about, for one, the draft. I think the Jets and the Bears, in hindsight, they did what's best in long run for their franchise. You want to talk about Rodgers and Pittsburgh, and the reason why he has not been signed is because they don't even want no part of that.
The Don said it feels like Bills has been getting the short end of the stick with teams he goes to. That's just his take. Do you guys believe that Justin Fields?
Well, yeah, we'll address that as soon as Bennett's done with his point. We'll address that. I'm down to address that.
Go ahead, Bennett.
Yeah, but Rodgers and Pittsburgh, whether you like it or not, which I do like it, Rodgers is not going to get his way in Pittsburgh. He's going to go to Pittsburgh. He's going to go there. He's going to get whatever fuck they give him. And when he asks for something extra, they're going to tell him to shut the fuck up. Which the Jets, which the Packers should have done a long time ago and tell this motherfucker, shut the fuck up. You're a quarterback, dude.
I don't think that's how it's happening at all.
You're not a GM. You're a quarterback.
No,
shut the fuck up.
I'm watching the Steelers not make any moves, and they're basically catering to Rodgers. And you're saying that he's not going to get what he wants, but he kind of is. Like he can pretty much tell him. I mean, if there was somebody out there,
that way the fucking Steelers can go 4-13 again, and fucking shut the fuck up.
All right.
The Steelers have had like 18 straight winning, like above 500 seasons.
Yeah, let's see what they do with Rodgers controlling the helm.
I hear you. As far as the Fields thing goes,
go ahead.
Let's see.
He said,
the Colts are in a bad, dude. The Colts are in quarterback hell right now, dude. No, dude, they got Jones and Richardson there competing for the number one spot. And when you're in that spot, you're in quarterback hell right now, dude. I feel bad for the Colts fans. But
you're not even Chicago anymore. You're in Indy.
What's that, bud? You're
not even in Chicago anymore. You're in Indy.
Yeah, that's true.
Who?
Oh no, that's what he said. He said also they got Leonard from Notre Dame. Then the Colts did. They drafted him.
Oh, I mean that he's probably honestly the most talented one on your roster right now. So
yeah.
As far as
go
ahead. Oh, as far as the Fields comment goes, Fields was in a situation with Pittsburgh when he went to Pittsburgh. We traded him there, and he was in a situation where if he played so many snaps, they had to give up like it was a contingent deal to where if he played over so many snaps that they were going to have to up their picks that they gave us or whatever. And so that was the whole thing of him getting a shorter end of the stick and them trying hard as hell to play Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. But I thought it was a pretty fair deal for him to get a 2-year, $20 million deal with the Jets. Yeah, man. I thought that's a prove it deal, but they're also giving him the opportunity to come out and be the starter. So I definitely don't feel like he got shafted there. When it comes to the Bears, it was just a case of a more talented quarterback being available in the draft, and we just had to evaluate our situation. Do we move forward with Fields and not really know what he's going to be, or do we take a guy that's got
Fields is the best quarterback Jets have had in 10 years.
I could probably roll with that. Like, yeah, I mean, he's definitely up there on the list.
He did have a question about where was it at here? He was asking about this right here. He put I probably missed the conversation. We didn't talk about Henderson, but that's what for the Bengals. But he says, "What's y'all's take on where he's going to go?" Since he pretty much said he wasn't going to play for the Bengals this season. Do you guys know anything about the situation with? That's defensive end. He's a white boy, isn't he, Henderson?
Oh yeah. They didn't give him the contract, so the Bears actually got in talks with the guy, and I don't think anything come of it because Cincinnati's blocking the situation. He's got to play for the Bengals or he can hold out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if it carries over into the regular season, there's a possibility of him getting traded, but they're probably going to stand firm on him through the preseason and see if he's serious about holding out the whole year. So.
Dude, I love him. He'd be an exceptional player for any franchise, but I don't want to pay the motherfucker $95 million.
That's how it is now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to pay these guys. I mean, the only ones that don't get paid anymore are the running backs.
You can say no. You can say no, Phil, like Cincinnati's doing right now.
Yeah.
Well, Cincinnati's in a bad spot because they paid both of their receivers. It's going to break down once these receivers start earning their big money on their contracts. It's going to break down to where Cincinnati's just got a solid offense, and their defense is going to be trash. It's just for the fact they better draft good, otherwise, they're not going to have any money to spend on defense. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen? Hey, mark my words. You know what's going to happen in the next 5 years? Mark my words. The running back is going to come back, and the wide receiver is going to decline. We're not paying wide receivers $87 million guaranteed money. Instead, we're going to pay running backs.
That's what's going to happen. I feel like running backs are a dime a dozen. That they'll use them for their rookie contract. You can draft a guy, have to pay him minimal. You get them for 4, maybe 5 years, and then you get to send them on their way, let somebody else try to pay them. But you're getting them usually during the best years of their career. These guys
that's why the Eagles came back and renegotiated Saquon's deal, because they were like, look, this is what the market is for quarterbacks, about $8 million a year, but you're worth more than that. So we're going to give you, I think they gave him like 20 a year or 15 a year or something nice. You know what I mean? So, and that was in good faith. Yeah, that was in good faith from the team. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, think over the last so many years, only 2 running backs have really received big deals like that anymore, and that was Barkley and that was Henry, because those guys are the exception to the rule. I feel like those guys are still playing at a high level, but they're not even in their 30s yet. So I mean, but Don said
I thought Henry was like 30 or 31.
He might be. I thought he was 28, 29. I'll have to look that up. But Don said, referring to the Bengals, and that he said, yeah, they're going to have to score a lot of points just to be competitive in games, just because their D won't be that good. because they've shelled out so much money to the receivers, to the quarterback. Then you got to start worrying about that offensive line. How is that going to handle up?
Yep.
So let me see.
All right, I got a little subject I want to hit on. Pete Rose, man. Pete Rose getting
Wow, good call, D-Lo, good call.
Yeah, and I think Shoeless Joe Jackson they let off the ban list too. So
they let off anybody that was dead.
Yeah, yep. So yeah, it's a post-mortem thing. If you're banned for life, once you pass, that you'll come off the ban list. So with that being said, does Pete get in? Because Barry Bonds and all them guys, they're not banned, but they're still not getting in.
Who gets the votes?
What's that, bud?
Who gets the votes?
That's what it's all about. Who gets the votes?
It's the Baseball Writers Association is who gets the votes.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, this will be Pete Rose's first time on the ballot. It's not like he'll have to go to the senior committee because he's never been on the ballot before.
He still has to go because of how long it's been since he stopped playing. They said it's still going to go to the senior part. Like they're going to have to decide if they are allowed on the ballots, because back when Rose first got the ban punishment, they said that didn't include the Hall of Fame. Like that wasn't, the Hall of Fame is totally separate from baseball. It's not the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. It's the Professional Baseball Hall of Fame. But they said they were going to side with the rules that if they say they're ineligible to be reinstated for baseball, that they can't be in the Hall of Fame. So he's lifted that. So just because it's lifted doesn't mean they're going to put him in the Hall. But I think that they will. So, and I know.
Well, okay. What about Shoeless?
That's what Don had said. Don had said, I don't know about Jackson, but he feels like Rose should be in. He said he don't know anything about Jackson. If you need to know anything about Jackson, all you got to do is watch Field of Dreams, which was based on Shoeless Joe. The book was titled Shoeless Joe Comes to Iowa. It wasn't called Field of Dreams. And watch the movie that was filmed in Indianapolis. The whole movie was 8 Men Out. It's got Charlie Sheen. It's got Doc from the Back to the Future movies, Doc Brown. It's got an ensemble cast in it. Shoeless Joe, he accepted $5,000. He couldn't read or write. He accepted $5,000, and for that reason of him admitting that is why he got put in.
Stop laughing, Bennett. Stop laughing, mother.
He's not getting in. He's not getting in.
They're saying that he threw the World Series. He had the best stats of the World Series. He had 12 hits.
I don't give a shit what he had.
He had the only home run of the series. He batted .345 in the World Series. His numbers on because he played for, I think, 12 seasons, and he has the fourth all-time highest batting average out of anybody. He will get in. He should get into the Hall of Fame. Shoeless Joe, Ty Cobb said Shoeless Joe was the best pure hitter he ever saw. Like, if he was trying to throw the World Series, he did a piss poor job because his stats say he was the MVP of the World Series that year. So I'm a big fan of Shoeless Joe. I think Rose deserves in, and I think Rose will, because you already don't have your two biggest things is your all-time hits and then home runs. And right now, currently, those two spots are not, the guys that own those spots are not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And those are two numbers that are huge when it comes to baseball. So I believe that, I don't know if Bonds will ever get in, who's the all-time home run king, but I believe Rose will get in. Why shouldn't Bonds get in?
Why? I mean, would you put Bonds in when he played for fucking Montreal?
He played for Pittsburgh, bud.
I think it was Kansas City was where he or Pittsburgh, wasn't it? Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh is
where he made.
But yeah, he took
Yeah, he was
steroids.
dog shit.
Steroids does not give you the ability to hit a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. You have to have hand-eye coordination. Steroids don't give that to you.
Yes, it does.
No, it does not. There's
That's
plenty of guys
bullshit.
out there that can't hit that, and they're bulked up because they can't hit a fastball. Bonds should go in. Rose is going to go in, and I hope that finally they let fucking Shoeless Joe. Now they let everybody out. They let all 8 guys.
But if you open that door and start letting them in, you got to think McGuire. You got to think
they are. Those guys are eligible. The writers just aren't putting them in. All right.
You got to think Jose Canseco. That dude talked about shooting people up in their ass cheeks in the locker room.
He's allowed to go, but he's allowed to go. He's not banned from going in. The writers don't put him in. That's what I'm saying. Just because,
that's what I'm saying. If you open the door and start letting and start voting those guys in, you just got to let them flood in, and that whole tainted era has just got to come in, dude.
But they put an asterisk because you know what? They fucked over Roger Maris. When Roger Maris passed up Babe Ruth for the all-time home runs in one season, they decided to put an asterisk next to his name. Why? Because he did it because he had 2 more games to do it. So they felt like that was cheating, and they fucked over Roger Maris for so many years. Roger Maris didn't even start getting the respect until McGuire and Sosa did that. McGuire and Sosa should go in the Hall of Fame for bringing baseball back from the depths after the lockout of '93.
Yeah, I agree.
So they put asses in seats and saved the game, America's pastime. So, I mean, like I said.
And they did it with steroids.
Rose hustled. Rose was guilty of betting on baseball, but he bet on his team to win. Put him in.
The problem with putting Sosa in, it's not the same guy now. That's a white guy that you see these days. You know what I'm saying?
That's Michael Sosa Jackson. That's what he looks like. But let them all. You can distribute however, but they have to have the numbers. You have to have the numbers. Now, by putting Jackson in, they're going to go by his numbers of the time, which was the best. These were numbers that was better, either on par or better than Ty Cobb. You know what I'm saying? Babe Ruth in that era, which Babe Ruth came after him. But even Babe Ruth talked about how great Shoeless Joe was and how he patented his swing after him. So, I mean, his influence on baseball, even though he couldn't read and write, go ahead and laugh, Bennett. But, like, he played the game and he hustled. Pete Rose, that's why they called him Charlie Hustle. This motherfucker, like, he didn't care if they were getting beat 10-0. He was coming in on home plate, and it was 9th inning. He was the last one. He was coming in trying to score that one run. He always played the game hard. Also, allegedly, he did some statutory rape of some 14-year-old girls. We don't know. He said he thought she was 16.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. Here's the thing when it comes to that. Karl Malone, the Hall of Famer, and he's got a kid. He had a kid with a 13-year-old girl. You know what I'm saying? And nobody ever said anything about that shit, dude. Like
he was the
so the dude's a Hall of Pete Rose was fucking Charlie Hustle.
Yeah,
Charlie Hustle.
Yeah.
You know.
They put
Karl Malone with Charlie Muscle.
Listen, Rose going in. I just hope that they put Jackson in. I don't know Bucky Weaver or some of these guys who played along with them because all 8 of them got removed from the list. There was 16 guys that actually got removed. One guy threatened to kill his manager back in the 1940s. He'd been put on the barred list. One owner who they forced to sell the team and shit. He was barred on the list. He got removed.
Should just put that team. I think they should just give that team like its own wing and explain everything about the scandal and how Shoeless Joe couldn't read and all that shit. And I think that's probably as far as it should go.
No, I think
what's that?
I think out of all of them, like, Buck Weaver was good, and they had a pitcher. It started with a C. I can't remember his name right now, but those guys might have had pretty good numbers, but especially the pitcher. He was on his last leg anyway. He had done really well. But
Yeah,
Shoeless
Bennett
Joe-
looks like he's on his last leg.
yeah, he does. I say, put both Pete Rose, put Joe Jackson in, and at least put him on the ballot. Let the writers decide. Why are you shaking your head, no, Bennett? Why can't Pete Rose go?
Shoot, Joe Jackson. He's a piece of shit.
He's not. His numbers were great.
I don't give a fuck about his numbers. He threw a game. It's proven
No,
that he threw the
there's
game.
no proof.
Go
There's
fuck
no-
yourself, Shoeless Joe. All your family members, Shoeless Joe, they should reprimand you in a way like dig up your fucking ashes, throw them in, maybe, I wouldn't even throw them in the ocean. I'd throw them into like a pit of toxicity.
This
And
might-
then we'll allow you to
Hey,
go in the Hall of Fame.
why don't you just call him an N-word, Bennett? I mean, my God.
he's white.
I was gonna say, I think he's white,
No.
D-Lo, you dumb shit.
Do you know what he did
I
after
thought
retirement?
Shoeless Joe was a black dude.
No,
I
no,
thought
he's white.
Shoeless Joe was a black dude.
No.
Oh.
But you're racist.
No, first of
You
all-
think any Jewish person is a black dude.
Do you know what he did? Do you know what he did? You know what he did after they banned him from baseball? He played in semi-pro leagues all the way up till he couldn't play no more. Then he bought a liquor store in Greenville, South Carolina, which he owned until.
That's
until
why I thought he
died.
was a black dude.
Yeah. Well, he owned it
God
until the day
damn
he
it.
died. And in fact, they said Ty Cobb came into the liquor store because he hadn't seen Joe in so long. He came in there, and Joe acted like he didn't know who he was. Till he said, "Joe, you don't know me?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, I know you, Ty." He was just like, "I didn't think you wanted anything to do with me." And he said, Why would I want something to do with the best hitter I ever saw play the game?" So
That's
Nice
a bullshit
story.
story.
no, it's
That's
a
a
true
bullshit
story.
story. It's not a
Ty
true
Cobb
story.
was the biggest asshole they said that ever played the game. He was more like Bennett, racist, hated. Go ahead.
I could tell a true story.
Well, listen, we've been on here for an hour and 15
No,
minutes.
No, we're not getting off yet. I'm gonna tell a true story.
Hey, thank you. This has been a Worst Case
Story
Scenario
time
podcast.
with Bennett.
Yeah.
What?